First set, Grigor Dimitrov, just ready?
Vol.
15 love.
That's a nice start. Cheap points, like gold dust in the early stages of this match. A sensible shot from Nadal, drawing his opponent up the court.
15 all.
You do get the impression early on that Dimitrov will be more comfortable from the back of the court. Didn't seem comfortable moving forward. Certainly didn't look as though he wanted to get to the net after the slice.
It looks like he's got a very smooth service motion. He can generate a lot of pace with the first. Conditions here do suit those that like to be aggressive. That's good stuff.
40-30.
Really the way Dimitrov moving his feet around the ball, each of the shots. Nice to see him showing a little bit of emotion. There, the old fist, even in the first game here, just trying to get those nerves out.
Nothing wrong with the tactic. Just good to try and get Nadal off the court if possible. Oh, it was pretty close, wasn't it? Interestingly, Nadal choosing to use that slice backhand because the ball does stay low on this surface. If you give it enough bite and an aggressive shot, lean into it. Early opportunity for the world number one then to assert his authority.
It's unusual that from Nadal. You'd expect on break point for him to at least make his opponent play the next ball.
Good tough, nice approach shot, good length.
Advantage Dimitrov.
And again, I like the way he's moving his feet. Really looking to take the ball on.
That's a shame. Early stages of the match, so important. Nadal does get on top early. You can see him using that to great effect. He's an excellent front runner, but if Dimitrov can just stay with him long enough, early doors, could be quite a match. Or certainly it will give us the opportunity to see him in full flow. Second break point. And there it is. Nadal eventually prevails. Good use of the slice backhand. Nice and consistent, very patient. And his patience has been rewarded. 1-love, first set. Just struggling a little bit there, Chris, with first serve percentage. Only made 36% in that opening game, and that's not going to get the job done this evening.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? You want to get those cheap points, especially against Nadal. You know, when you do get in those baseline rallies, Nadal's going to be favourite most of the time. Dimitrov, as the match goes on, he's really got to be making those first serves in. Also another sign there is when you do get in those baselines rallies and Dimitrov standing way back behind the baseline, just felt almost too far back. And that's exactly the way Nadal would like you to play.
Plenty of fans waiting patiently to get a look at the world number one at close quarters, and why not? He's a magnificent specimen.
And that's where Nadal is at his best. Great combination, the first serve. And look at the feet, the footwork around the ball to use the big forehand. Always plays it best from the backhand wing.
Nadal is relentless, outmaneuvering his opponent initially and then just peppering that backhand and taking his opponent further and further out of his comfort zone.
And that's the problem, isn't it, where Dimitrov is doing all the running, not getting forward because Nadal's dictating the point, and then over presses, forces too much on the last shot. You know, to make those shots over a 2-set, 3-set match, it's not going to happen.
It's 2-2 to love.
A nice solid service game. Consolidates his position in the early stages of the opening set.
Missing quite a bit today. A lot of the players slipping. Monfils had problems during his match trying to keep on his feet. Nadal going there, just back behind his opponent, so keeping him off balance. And that's much better from Dimitrov. The difference there was that he played the shot well inside the baseline. So it really does rush Nadal.
It's hard to do, but that's got to be the game plan. And I guess you feel under so much pressure when you miss your first serve as well, when you're staring down the barrel of a gun. That's brilliant. And that will do his confidence the power of good.
30.
Nadal, I'm sure, surprised by the quality of that last shot, the pace on it, the additional spin that caught him unawares down at his shoelaces.
You feel this is a pretty big point for Dimitrov. He really needs to make that first serve. Maybe just take a little bit more pace off it just to make sure it goes in. Would be one idea he could use.
The slice backhand doesn't look a particularly natural shot for him.
And it's interesting, even in these early stages, Nadal, he knows that, and he's played a lot of slice backhands low to that particular shot.
We did stop the rally, and I think the linesman might have been unsighted because Nadal was in between him and where the ball bounced. It'll be interesting to see how this one pans out. Important call. And it was a good challenge by the Spaniard.
Yeah, I have to say, look wide to me. Nadal doing the right thing, not carrying on the rally.
And backed up by that replay. It's good stuff all round. That's a little cheap. Very surprising.
difference it makes when you do find that first serve.
Well, fingers crossed, that will help settle the nerves. Nadal still has the early break of serve. The Spaniard leads 2-1. There is a real buzz in the stadium because of all that Nadal's been able to achieve in the last 12 months. It's certainly, not only does it bring the fans flocking, but it wins a lot of his matches, or certainly gets a head start in the locker room, doesn't he?
He certainly does. It's the message he sends out to his opponents. The fans get on his side as well because they love him, and kind of brings everything to his advantage going out there on the court. When he plays like it so early on, for an opponent, you look over the other side of the net, you see Nadal ready to receive serve, and he's jogging on the spot. There's something really sort of in your face, and that can be quite off-putting. And I do feel here in these early stages, that's almost the way I feel that Dimitri is feeling. And that's the reason why he's not making so many first serves, because he just feels he has to do that a little bit more extra with his actual serve. But certainly that game will give him a huge boost, give him a little bit more confidence, and hopefully for Dimitrov he'll just settle down and try and execute his game plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, seats quickly, please. Thank you.
You could bet some pretty decent money on there being a slightly delayed start to this game, given that there are plenty of fans still making their way into the stadium. It's pretty much a packed house now, which is pretty decent, given it's only Thursday and this a second round encounter.
Thanks. Thank you. Nearest seats for now will be great. Thank you. First service.
It's good hitting from both. You do get the impression, Chris, that Nadal very comfortable hitting at that pace, whereas Dimitrov is much redlining his game there.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Nadal really does love that encounter where he's able to manoeuvre his opponent around the back of the court. And certainly on return, can't afford to drop it too short against Nadal. Right in the centre there. Nadal's bread and butter.
Nadal leads 3-1.
And again, just feel as these baseline rallies continue that Dimitrov is never really in control. He seems to be the person doing all of the running. Yeah, that's only after 4 games.
Yeah, and I think he has a little bit of a disadvantage in the fact that he's only got a single-handed backhand, a little bit like Federer in a way. That forehand of Nadal's getting up there nice and high, and it's tough to be aggressive. And that's where you need a really good slice backhand, I think. Well, not that Federer doesn't have one of those, but conditions like these, he could step up the court, take the ball early, and knife it nice and short and low, and then Nadal might have trouble with the extreme grips that he uses. There's a meaty blow on serve, almost 200 kilometers an hour.
Janzi Rink, a past winner here in '98. But nice to see Dimitrov just changing up the tactics and looking to use the serve volley.
In the end, perhaps the 17-year-old was a little fortunate to get away with that last point. Nadal should have done better with the last volley. 3-2 first. But it's been a relatively good start, Chris. Obviously nervous initially, but there's been some nice changes in terms of his tactics in the last couple of games and seems to have steadied down a little bit.
Yeah, and it's good for his belief that he's still hanging in there. There's only one breakdown. But I think, you know, as the match goes on, he will need to try different things to try and combat what Nadal's doing. I always find it also interesting watching Dimitrov play as to see where he can get better, what he can do in the future to improve his game, so when he does come up against best players in the world, he can play better against them and get better results. And you quite often see that with Nadal. He likes his rituals, likes to place the two bottles next to each other, keeps them in the right place.
It's a nice test for Nadal as well. I'm sure he'll have been pleased to come through yesterday evening's tight encounter, and he served relatively well this evening. First serve percentage almost 60%, and has only dropped 1 point so far on it. Dimitrov would certainly have hoped to have got more first serves in. He's only made 43% so far. That needs improving. He has tried to spread it around a little bit, but you've got to make the majority of your first serves. Got to try and get that up to 60 or even 65% would be beautiful against the likes of Nadal, who of course is the best returner in the business.
First service.
Brilliant.
And there's so much pace on his forehand. A lot of top spin, taking the ball way outside the court. It really does work off the surface. 𝕼𝖆𝖕𝖃, footballer, Dutch footballer, used to spend a bit of time in England in the Premier League. He's played for Nottingham Forest.
If memory serves, Forest won a bad team, but I think he went on strike or something, didn't he? I think maybe then he went up to Celtic, something like that, but wasn't the most popular of players. But I'm sure that's all changed now. I'm sure he's mellowed with age. We all do. Well, that was a decent service game, and Nadal in control of the match, you have to say. But wary, I'm sure, his opponent this evening has the necessary firepower to make life difficult for him if he allows him to do so. So far, he's asserted his authority very well indeed. Would you like to see him do that a little more frequently, Chris?
Absolutely, such a good play. Using the angle there to take his opponent way out of the court and just ghosting into the net for a volley. And even in that rally, Dimitrov, as they had a couple of opportunities early on in the hits to take advantage in the point, but hit and then move back. And once he started moving back, then Nadal's in control of the point.
It's great defense from Nadal.
Again, Dimitrov hit a beautiful forehand straight down the line. Opted to stay back. If he had continued his move in forwards, he would have had an easy volley.
And I guess those are the types of lessons that he'll hopefully learn when up against players like Nadal for the very first time. Again, that's better.
14-13. Dimitrov is challenging the call on the right centre service line. Ball is called out.
That was a good call, well wide. Poor challenge. I've seen that a couple of times today when players have challenged after a first serve. They've been incorrect and it's put them off the second.
Just takes them out of the zone, doesn't it? The concentration.
So a point for a 5-2 lead. Oh, wasn't much in it. Some terrific anticipation from Nadal. He's so disappointed. But it was a lovely sneak into net initially from Dimitrov.
Yeah, again, another good move forwards. It's incredible to see Nadal off out of the blocks before. You say it's what you call pretty good anticipation.
Brilliance. The first really big rally that Dimitrov's been able to win.
And he was sensible here, Dimitrov. Just gave it a little bit more height, made sure he made his opponent play the volley. Really good hustle.
Brilliance. Really starting to open his shoulders there. It was a huge game for him to eventually win. At 5-2, the set was dead, but at 4-3, he's still in with a shout, but only just. Nadal leads 4-3.
Yeah, we saw during the course of that last game, Nadal sort of looking at his feet. So often he does have those ankles very tightly strapped, just to keep a little bit of control on the joints. He does put so much stress on his body, doesn't he? The different surfaces he plays on, the amount of hours he's on court. You know, he's quite a demanding player, isn't he?
And you can hear it as well. You can hear him sliding and screeching at the baseline as he works exceptionally hard to get a lot of these shots back in play. And Roger Federer was suggesting in Australia a few weeks ago that it does take its toll on the body. Somebody like Federer tends to glide around the court a little more and doesn't hustle quite as much as somebody like Nadal. And it does make a big difference to the amount of effort that is taken to stay in the majority of these rallies. It's going to take its toll, for sure.
Yeah, to me, though, this looks more of a caution than an actual injury.
Perhaps just needing a little bit of additional tape just to feel absolutely secure. Sometimes the tape is put on a little too tightly, and the end of your foot tends to start becoming a little numb. But on this occasion, some additional strapping has been added to that left ankle just to shore things up a little bit. That's a lovely feel.
I'm sure the crowd realised it was a double bounce. Excellent disguise from Dimitrov.
And a good call from the umpire, definitely a double bounce. And this is when Nadal needs to regroup. That's why he tends to take the towel, take his time, gather his thoughts. Good point, this one. couple of rare miscues, and suddenly Dimitrov has an opportunity here. Get right back in this opening set. Well, perhaps Nadal should have challenged. He had a good look at it. Three break points. This time he does fancy that the official got it wrong. And he's spot on.
15-14.
So one break point saved. A further two to negotiate. Named and shamed. Nadal making sure there, was almost wide of the doubles alley there.
30-14.
Yeah, we've been doubt. You've got to play the ball. And certainly Nadal would have been in doubt whether that was going to drop in or out, so he had to play it.
So still a lot of work to do here. A third break point to save. And just back to basics when under pressure.
It was interesting, wasn't it? Slow to cover those forehands down, made sure he got enough spin on it, but with the spin he got enough height over the net, so it really did kick off the surface, and Dimitrov nearly playing his backhand in the first row of the stands.
Most generous of Nadal, that, allowing Dimitrov a fourth break point. Nadal will be bitterly disappointed. Dug himself a hole initially. It looked like, for all the world, he got out of it. But then a further couple of unforced errors proved his downfall.
It was a loose game, certainly by Nadal standard. We think he did have the opportunities to be a double break ahead in this set. He didn't take those. You do feel his concentration has wandered somewhat.
He got involved in a dogfight yesterday evening against Simone Bolelli before eventually prevailing 7-5 in the third. Dropped the opening set on that occasion. He's allowed his opponent to hang around in the opening set here this evening.
again, they're the sort of shots from Nadal you'd expect him to make. By standards, very loose.
It's a meaty blow, especially when it's struck that accurately. Well, quite a turnaround here. Amazingly, it's the 17-year-old that leads at the tail end of this opening set. 5-4.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, the way the matches just change so suddenly, and I'm kind of looking at it thinking, is it the fact that Dimitrov has changed his game so much, or is it the fact that Nadal has given so many cheap points away? And I think it's almost a combination of both. I think Dimitrov has steadied his game, he's got a little bit more confidence, started making a few more first serves, so then he's not in such a dogfight from the back of the court. And then Nadal, on the other hand, you feel, by his standards, has really thrown in quite a few cheap points, but a lot of cheap points at very, very important times, which you wouldn't expect when someone's so match tight, when full of confidence coming into this event.
So, amazingly, it's Nadal that's under pressure at the end of this opening set, despite the fact that at one stage he led 4-2 and had a point for a double break for a 5-2 lead. He gave it away cheaply and has paid the price ever since. Needs to hold serve now in front of a packed house to stay in this opening set. Definitely floated just wide, but again, trying to use some good variation, initially hoping to be a little more aggressive with that single-handed backhand. It's not easy when you're having to fight so much spin, the ball kicking up like a mule off the court. A much better service game.
5 games all.
And they're very quickly back on level terms.
There's a good idea coming forward, volleying to pay the price for stopping, hesitating. Didn't quite carry on his movement closer to the net.
Nice to see him wanting to move forwards. And again, lovely touch from Nadal, and perhaps a little too ambitious with that shot.
Love 30.
Oh, what a great shot from Nadal. Great speed to get the ball back, but keeping it nice and low. Very difficult volley to make. And also the pressure is if he had made it, then Nadal probably would have got there anyway.
I don't remember you missing any of those volleys though, Chris.
No, I'd taken it shoulder height.
So quick were you take advantage of anything in the forecourt. Lovely use of that slice backhand there again.
Love 40.
Rafael Dimitrov, a little bit inexperienced at the latter end of this first set. Shot selection hasn't quite been right in this game and the game before.
Terrific hustle and an excellent response. The world #1 richly deserving his break of serve, and the Spaniard now has an opportunity to put this opening set to bed. He leads 6-5.
And again, Nadal showing why he's such a difficult opponent to play against, so quick to get to the ball. The thing is, when he does get there, it's still quite a difficult shot to make. It really does show what great hands, how loose he is at the difficult shots. Yeah, anything high, then Dimitrov would have had an easy volleys put away, but he kept it nice and low and then was in control of the point. Yeah, it's frustrating. You find yourself, you get yourself back into the match, and then within the space of 5 minutes, it just changes again.
Time.
Do you promise?
15 love.
And again, there's no question that was a sign of additional tension in the arm. Head coming up a little too early. Anxious, I'm sure, to see where the shot was going to land.
Second service.
That's brilliant. Really nice change of direction with the forehand. Not an easy shot, but he made it a relatively high percentage play because he hit a lot of topspin, good height over the net. And then, of course, sensibly just moving in behind the shot as well. Out of the corner of his eye, Dimitrov there will have been put off by the fact that Nadal was moving into the forecourt. Just tried to do a little more with the shot. Well, it has been a very entertaining affair, this opening set. For much of it, Nadal has been in control. And here he is at set point. And beautifully done in the end. Was under a little bit of pressure when 5-4 down, but managed to rectify the situation in double quick time. Nadal takes the opening set in just over an hour. Well, some good tennis there, Chris, throughout that opening set. Nadal, I think, managing to raise the level of his game when he needed to most.
He felt halfway through there. He did kind of let Dimitrov back into the match. His concentration did go, but was able to turn it in his favour at the end there. But for me, Dimitrov, if he wants to make any impact on this match, he's got to really improve that first serve percentage at only 48%. So, as you've already mentioned, to be getting up around about 60-65%. So when he does get into those baseline rallies, he's going to be in trouble. So he needs more cheap points on his actual serves. Nadal, on the other hand, pretty consistent stats on his own game. Nearly 60% of first serves in. The area where he might want to think about improving on is the break points won, winning only 2 out of the 5.
Some fancy footwork from Dimitrov in the last point of the set, and some flashes of brilliance too, Chris, throughout. So some good stuff. Definitely there's potential there for the future.
Yeah, certainly a lot of potential. A lot to work with, and as a coach, you look at young players coming through and think how they can develop and progress, and certainly Dimitrov has a game that will progress quite rapidly over the next couple of years. His attitude seems pretty good. Doesn't seem overruled by the occasion once he sort of got going in the match.
Who, Nadal?
Not Nadal, he's used to it. Dimitrov. I like the way once Dimitrov sort of settled into the set, he started trying a few different things in the match, and that was good to see, the fact that a young guy's thinking about the points and how to vary it. He threw in the odd serve volley, which is nice.
Yeah, he forced Nadal in the end to raise the level of his game, which he did at the business end of it, from 5-4 down. That's all you can ask. If the best players in the world have to bring their best tennis in order to eventually prevail, then you've pretty much done the best you can do. And it's going to be important for him now to try and maintain his concentration at the beginning of this second set, not let Nadal run away with it. Take the positives from the first set and improve upon them here. Oh, it's a lovely shot.
There's a really good change of pace as well from the Bulgarian.
What have you made so far, Chris, of the adjustments Nadal's needed to make to his game, playing indoors compared to outdoors?
I think for him it's a case of getting the balance of when to go for it, when not to go for it, and for me in that set he sort of changed out quite nicely towards the end. That's what I like about Nadal, is he's prepared to put himself on the line on any surface he can play on.
That's an excellent opening service game. It's very easy when you've played a tight first set against somebody ranked an awful lot higher to just lose your concentration a little bit early stages of the second, but obviously guarding against that quite beautifully there.
Very good action, Dimitrov. Very easy, very fluent. Really does reach out nice and high, and it does come down from quite a height. Well, a good variation from Dimitrov, bringing Nadal forwards off the baseline, but you do feel quite often that position, Dimitrov's a little bit inexperienced as to where to put the ball. Well, once the ball is put up there, there's always going to be one winner.
Game Nadal. 1 game on.
Well, both players concentrating on holding serve in the initial stages of this second set. Both going very quietly about their business.
Another little lull in concentration from Nadal. Almost feels as though he needs to be tested to get his mind back.
And the more service games he can hold as comfortably as that, the better as far as his confidence is concerned. 2-1.
There's a really good crowd in here this evening at the Ahoy Arena, which was opened back in 1971. And they do have plans during the course of this year to add some more seating and some stands, which will cater for up to 15,000 people. They have all sorts of concerts here during the course of the year, and it's certainly a great arena to come to. Again, Nadal just going through all his routines of having the right banana, keeping the waters together. Well, Nadal, you feel, does have some thinking to do as to ways of trying to get his concentration back. It's very easy after winning a set is to let your mind wander. But Already seen it all before. So much experience behind him now.
So no breaks so far here in the second. Uncle Tony relatively pleased with all that he's seen so far this week. It was a bit of a tight scrape yesterday evening. So far this evening, things have gone a little more according to plan. Shame. Initially set the point up beautifully.
30-15.
Good length. Drew the relatively short ball. And he was ready to sneak into the net. That's superb. He was under so much pressure in the early stages of the rally, but then because his defense is so good, he was able to turn defense into attack. And look at the pinpoint accuracy of that shot there, the necessary wherewithal to sense that that was the time to move into the net. A lovely feel on the volley. Brilliant. What a combination of shots there.
We'll change please. New balls.
And what an incredible angle Nadal's able to generate from this forehand, from the backhand corner. Gets so much whip and work up the back of the ball, and the spin really brings the ball back down into the court.
Absolutely brutal shot making. To a piece.
15 all.
And again, Nadal making it so difficult for the net rusher, always giving you a low volley to play.
Serving an awful lot better in this second set, Dimitrov at 80%, which is impressive.
Do you think that was intended?
He'll certainly say it was.
30-15.
Well, if it was, it's certainly a great touch.
And I think the fact that he's getting more first serves in is allowing him to play rallies like that, where he's the aggressor in the rally. He's able to implement his game plan. He wasn't able to do that in the early stages of the match. It was 5 of the opening 7 games.
$40-15.
Continues that rich vein of form. It's a very tight match, this one. Everything still to play for. The Bulgarian leads 3-2.
Dimitrov certainly started tennis at a young age, the age of 5. And there's a good little background in his family. His father, Dimitar, is a tennis coach, and mother, Maria, is a sports teacher. So he has a sporting pedigree behind him. And how proud and delighted they must be seeing him on this big stage against the #1 player in the world. And he's doing a good job. And you feel he's growing confidence as the match is going on.
Time. $15 left.
Nadal's certainly improved the quality of his volleys, hasn't he?
30 love.
Yeah, a lot of volleys are relatively easy after a good quality serve. Serve going out wide, open court to play the volley into. $30-15.
40-15. Mr. Dimitrov is challenging the Amro on the right baseline.
Yep, it's caught a piece of the line. Nadal can't believe it. A shake of the head, but that's as far as his protesting will go. So we'll have to do it all over again. It's an excellent combination of shots. It was a lovely serve initially. And he makes that shot look really easy, but it's not.
40-15. $40-30.
Well, it's a brilliant return of serve, but what reactions from Nadal. So aware of the situation, so able to make the necessary adjustments. I've seen some really good tennis throughout the course of this match. The best of the day, without a shadow of a doubt. And Dimitrov's put up a really good fight. Especially considering got off to a relatively poor start. Fell behind 5-2 in the opening set if you weren't with us, and made a very spirited comeback thereafter. Or was a point for 5-2 down.
$15 love.
It's a similar pattern to something to play in the first set where Nadal just went off the ball a little bit and started throwing in a few cheap points.
Oh, yes. What a shot.
30-15.
That's great control of the racket head from Nadal. Really off balance, but still able to direct the ball. Pinpoint accuracy down the line. And that's where he's really grown in the match. Early on, wasn't able to use that first serve and get him out of trouble. But as the match developed, he's been able to find it when it's needed.
He's won 12 of 15 points in the second set when the first serve's gone in. healthy numbers. Oh, yes. Brilliant. From both players. Terrific athleticism on show. And you cannot beat that as far as quality tennis is concerned. Dimitrov leads 4-3, second set.
Dimitrov leads 4-3.
That really was one of the points of the tournament. Great the way Dimitrov just changed his tactics. Excellent touch on the drop shot. How did Nadal manage to pick this up and get it back into court was quite incredible. Pretty good reach from Bulgarian. Excellent point all round. Both players really throwing themselves and committing themselves to the points. And how he enjoyed that. A little smile here at the end of the rally from Nadal.
Time.
So Nadal, you would expect to be slightly more aggressive in terms of his rally hit points when playing indoors, and certainly many of those shots when serving have been taken inside the baseline, and he's taken advantage of anything that drops short. And that's allowed him to serve relatively well and dominate his service games for the vast majority of the match.
Love 15.
He did play that one poor service game midway through the opening set that got him in trouble, and this one looks to be fashioned from a similar vein.
It's a good aggressive move forward from Nadal, not letting the ball drop at all, getting as close to net as possible.
Brilliant.
It was an incredible shot. Excellent pace on the ball. Just going over the net. It really was a I've got a nothing to lose shot.
It's given him a break point. Passing shot certainly paying dividends in the end. A little fortunate, perhaps, to get the break as easily as he did in the end, but it'll be very interesting to see how he copes with the additional burden of expectation here, given that he's got an opportunity to serve out this second set now.
It has to be said again, a couple of loose shots again from Nadal in that service game. At times you feel he's right there in the zone, but then other times he seems to be losing his concentration. You do find that Nadal doesn't miss many volleys. The quality of the approach shots really set up an easy volley. You say about Agassi, didn't miss too many volleys when he was out the net, but the quality of his build-up play was so good, the volleys were pretty easy.
Oh, yes, what a shot. There wasn't a lot wrong with the first volley, and they got it deep enough, but perhaps could have created a little more angle, which would have made life a little more difficult for Nadal.
The amount of movement Nadal gets on this forehand, swerve, top spin, really flies it through the air.
That's good recovery. It would have been easy to start to panic.
30 all.
It's not an easy shot, that one. Had to get it up and down. Not sure how hopeful he is here. Took enough of the line for it to count.
Mr. Nadal has 2 challenges remaining.
And that's given Dimitrov set point. And that'll do it. And you can see how pumped he is. Huge effort in that second set. And the 17-year-old from Bulgaria is going to take us the distance. It's 1 set apiece, having wrapped up that second set, 6 games to 3.
It's really great the way Dimitrov has grown as the match gone on, and part of the reasons why he's sort of built on the confidence is the fact that he's serving so much better. 77% of first serves in this particular set, and by doing that he's winning majority of points on his first serve and very high percentage of points on his second serve. So it really is all built around what he's doing behind his serve, and if you serve well it gives you a bit of momentum, you gain confidence, and also it sends a message to your opponent. Nadal, you feel is under more pressure during the course of this set.
Well, Nadal now with a lot of work to do in this deciding set. Dimitrov certainly served an awful lot better in second. Numbers he posted were very good. 77% of first serves in. He spread it around both service boxes very nicely indeed too. Not many serves into the body, and certainly he was able to keep Nadal guessing all the time.
Time. Thank you. Seats, please. Final set. Nadal to serve. Thank you. Fifteen love. $30 love.
I think that's what Nadal's got to start to do a little more often now. Be aggressive, take the net away from his opponent whenever the opportunity arises, and certainly presented itself there.
Nadal. First game, final set. 15 love. Love.
Really good defensives from Dimitrov. Not only getting it back, but getting it back nice and deep. Nadal really having to work hard to try and find a way through.
He's started this third set in the best possible fashion. Plenty of chest pumping going on in his camp. Certainly no shortage of spirit in the second set, and that bodes well here in the third. Remember, he's already beaten Thomas Berdych, former top 10 player in the opening round here in 3 tight sets. Lovely change of pace.
15 all.
There's no question that Nadal is having to dig deep in the early stages of this third set. But he's well used to doing that, and we would expect nothing less.
Well, certainly is going for it. Interesting there to see him moving very early on the return of serve with the intent to be the aggressor. And just got a little bit carried away.
The exuberance of youth. I remember it well.
It's quite a while ago, was it?
A very long time ago. I've got a good memory. Fully focused and has the advantage of serving first in this deciding set. 2-1. Is a buzz around this centre court. They've been thoroughly entertained from start to finish, and there's plenty of tennis left to be played in this one, and it's a tough one to call at the moment, strange as that may seem given the huge discrepancy in both players' rankings. But Dimitrov has covered himself in glory so far on serve in the early stages of the third.
I thought it was a big second serve to go for. It's been unusual from Nadal. Just putting the trigger too soon in the course of the rallies. Normally you see him exchange a few more and then pick the right ball to open up on.
It's a relatively comfortable game in the end. The more of those you can get in a deciding set of any match at any level, the better. The players have been saying all week here the balls have been flying a little bit. They're using the US Open ball and certainly haven't used that for the past few weeks on the tour. balls that they were using in the Australian Open, slightly heavier, did tend to fluff up a little more. So you have to put a little more effort into an aggressive shot here. The ball's travelling through there a little quicker. And that might be one of the reasons why in the early stages of this week we are seeing a few more unforced errors from all concerned, even the likes of Nadal.
And usually that's his best shot, moving around the ball in the backhand corner, using his forehand. His feet were in the right position. On that occasion, just lacking the height over the highest part of the net.
Good approach shot. It's a courageous one. It had to be perfect because it was leaving Dimitrov with a little space up the line. Brilliant. Nadal guilty of dropping the ball ever so slightly short. And Dimitrov pouncing.
30-40.
And compare it to the first set, Dimitrov would have moved back and played it behind the baseline, but this time now he's gaining confidence. He's now happy to move forwards and take it early.
So amazingly, here's break point for the 17-year-old.
And that's Nadal at his best. Trading from the back, just waiting for the right ball. Playing the big point so well.
for once, it's Dimitrov who comes out on top in the battle of the sliced backhands.
Advantage Dimitrov.
Certainly wasn't the case in the opening stages of the match. Another opportunity to get that vital break of serve now. Again, Nadal doing what he does best, sticking to the basics on the really important points. Brilliant. Superb combination of shots from Nadal.
It's almost like a game of chess, isn't it? Both players sort of tempting the other player to come up with something different. Great to see a bit of slice, bit of topspin, bit of variety out there.
Time will tell just how important that service hold was. You do get the distinct impression that it will make a huge difference in the outcome of the match. Nadal edges into the lead once more. 3-2, third set.
That's where Nadal is so good. He just manages to find a way to get through the games. If he does go on to win this match, we'll look back and think how important that hold was. All credit to Dimitrov. Really putting up a good fight here and is really gaining in confidence as the match develops. And early on in the match, he kind of felt he was going to be a little bit one-dimensional. He played quite away from back behind the baseline, but he's proven that he's got quite a lot of other shots in the book.
Time.
You really sense the crowd are really getting into the climax of this match. Just a little bit negative, Dimitrov. He's got to stay positive. It's a real test of his character.
Well, now comes a real test. It's a well-timed move to the net. Took Dimitrov by surprise.
Yeah, he did. Just took the ball that fraction early.
And having saved break points in his previous service game, Nadal now with an opportunity to move ahead 4-2. And the Spaniard duly converts at the very first time of asking.
Nadal leads 4-2.
That's when Nadal is so mentally tough. Just switch it on whenever he needs to. He really tightened up his game there. And mix it up nicely as well. Changed the pace. Didn't allow Dimitrov to get forwards.
So 2 games are all that separate Nadal from a place in the quarterfinals.
Now 15.
Nadal is slightly fortunate here. Distinct impression that Dimitrov is cramping up. He did it at the end of that last service game. And all that nervous energy, I'm sure. Anxiety about taking part in a match of this stature taking its toll now. Nadal, midway through this third set, just warming up nicely.
First service.
There's an excellent returner serve. Trying to get the ball out of his body. This was the point before where he found just cramped in his groin area.
Not pretty. It's the last thing you need. With one hand off the court. Amazingly, Nadal has gifted the Bulgarian an opportunity to stay competitive in this deciding set. Beautifully done. You see it time and time again, Nadal resorting to a little bit of serve and volley when he needs the point most.
He's so sensible. He's taking the pace off the serve, but getting the width to take the opponent out. And then after, he's got the easy volley into the open court. But it's about the timing when he uses it.
Shame, but again, I think cramp hitting when he least expected it.
Again, it's such a shame because he built the point up beautifully. As he's just moving from that volley, you just feel the agony that he's going through.
Well, he can't believe it. Neither can most of the fans in the stadium. It's a relatively simple shot, missed by a country mile.
It's so out of character, isn't it?
Advantage Dimitrov.
Nadal has tried to pepper his opponent's backhand when serving at break point. does so again to good effect.
Deuce.
And for Dimitrov, one of those big points, is getting the balance of obviously keeping it in, but he doesn't want to be too negative and lay the ball too short for Nadal to get at him.
Advantage Nadal.
No need for the Bulgarian to have to challenge the call. The umpire overruled it. And therefore Nadal could have challenged the overrule, but obviously he knew in his heart of hearts that he'd missed the shot.
Advantage Nadal.
More and more in this deciding set, Nadal deciding to take matters into his own hands and come into the net. Nadal very sensible there, just dropping the ball to his opponent's feet and asking him the question, what are you going to do about it? Dimitrov unable to come up with a half-decent answer. Nadal leads 5-2, third set.
I've seen quite a few times during the course of this match, Dimitrov trying to change a tactic and using the drop shot. Uses it with pretty good disguise, but it's what he does after the drop shot. Good idea to move forward to take away the angles, but doesn't quite know what to do with the ball when it comes over with the person already at the net. Maybe trying to be a little bit too cute. Another option maybe just to play a lob back over the opponent who is moving forwards and will obviously be off balance. But I like the tactics he's looking at using. Such a good following for Nadal. People come from all around the world to come and see him perform. Lots of Spanish fans here with their flags.
Time.
So Dimitrov serving to stay in the tournament.
15-1. 15 all.
Just fallen away a little bit, and Nadal has taken full advantage of that. That's what you would expect. The advantage of experience and better physical conditioning and greater mental conditioning. But despite the fact that it's fallen away rather rapidly in this deciding set, there's been plenty of good stuff on offer from Dimitrov. Bodes well for the future. Here's match point for Nadal. It's been a very entertaining affair, that there can be absolutely no doubt. Fans have thoroughly enjoyed the 2 hours and 25 minutes these two have been going at it. And there it is. A very entertaining affair, but in the end Nadal just too strong, both physically and mentally. But certainly a terrific experience for the 17-year-old Bulgarian, playing in front of a packed house here at such a big tournament against the best player in the world, and certainly succeeding to a certain extent by winning that second set. But in the end it's Nadal who prevails, and the Spaniard moves safely through to the quarterfinals.
Well, Nadal really is the best in the business at getting through the match, making life so difficult for Dimitrov. And taking 7 of his 12 break points. Serve-wise, not a lot of difference between the two players. Double faults from Dimitrov. There's an area maybe he wants to think about. Too many cheap points being given away on the serve. Improved his first serve percentage as the match went on. But he'll be delighted at the experience that he's gained from playing the #1 player in the world. Takes an extremely good applause as he walks off the court. A sense that he really enjoyed the occasion.